Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be making my December bullet journal theme. I feel like I say this every single year, but I can't believe 2025 is already over and that this is my last journal theme that it's going to be in my cute 2025 bullet journal. If you're new here and this is the first video that you're seeing from me, I make journal with me videos every single month showing how I conceptualize and design my bullet journal themes for each month of the year. This is actually the third year that I've been chronicling my bullet journal journey on YouTube. So you can see all of my journal with me videos from 2023, 2024, and 2025. So if you are in need of journal theme ideas or inspiration for starting your journal for 2026, I already have a really great backlog of ideas and content for you to check out. Anyway, for December, I had a really hard time deciding what I wanted to do. So I actually did something that I haven't done in a long time when it comes to designing journal themes, and that was I actually started with a color palette instead of an actual idea. This is something that I used to do all the time because when I first started bullet journaling, I really associated months with colors, and I still do. Like, for example, December is always blue to me, March is always green, August is always orange and red. That's just kind of how like the synesthesia in my brain works. So when I first started bullet journaling, I always made themes that were based on the colors that I associated with each month. But as I've been bullet journaling over the years, since I've been doing it for so long, I feel like I've been branching out and doing different things. The color palette that I picked for December is a little bit non-traditional. I am going to make a little mood board to show you the inspiration behind this color palette. Recently, I've been very into a lot of 2000s nostalgia. I know that you guys definitely know that from themes that I've done in the past. I'm always inspired by 2000s nostalgia, but this is a very specific niche. I feel like this color palette reminds me of like American Girl, like computer wallpapers, maybe like twee aesthetic, or kind of like a little bit before that, like 2000s preppy kind of. It's very whimsical. It reminds me of like the whimsical Christmas decor trends that are going around on TikTok right now, which I feel like is one of my favorite trends in a while. And this is one time where I feel like I was really trying to nail down a specific aesthetic that I didn't really know how to name, and it was really just trying to match a vibe in my brain. But I do really think that making this color palette fully realized my vision for this journal theme, and it actually turned out as one of my favorites that I've ever done. So I'll talk to you more about my design process and how I nailed down the rest of the design elements in the voiceover section while you can watch me design the theme. So you can head over to my desk and check that out. Hey everyone, welcome to the voiceover portion of the video. So when I first picked out my color palette, I was trying to think about how I can actually implement it in a way that I thought would be like very, I don't know, honoring of the color palette. I knew that I didn't want to do line art. You guys know that I like line art, and I feel like black line art can often make a lot of my more graphic designs really stand out, but I really wanted the color palette to shine here. So while I was looking at the pages of my notebook, if you guys didn't know, I use a dot grid notebook from Archer and Olive. I thought that using the dot grid to do a really geometric pattern would be a great way to keep all of the colors very contained without having to use line art. So I came up with this idea of having a full page covered in presents, and all of the presents would be different sizes and different dimensions, some really tall and skinny, some really wide and fat, some square, some rectangular. And they would all be drawn within the contains of the dot grid. So I would have a lot of space to work, and it would be, I don't know, very consistent because I was using the dot grid. There would always be one column of dots between each row or each column of presents, and then one row of dots between each row of presents. So I basically went in and I drew a bunch of outline shapes with a pencil to make like my grid over the entire page. And once I had that, all I had to do was fill them in with color. So this was a very, very fun way to fill in the grid. I basically just had my color palette laying out, and I was just picking colors, drawing patterns, drawing different shapes, and doing different color combinations on each present. So I'm going to give you some ideas in a minute of like different patterns you could do if you want to recreate this. But I feel like the best way to work if you're going to do this is just think about what you want to do before you start on a design. Do a background color if you need that, or if your background color is going to be too dark, to draw your elements with your lighter colors first and then do the background color. Very simple, very easy to recreate. I feel like this theme is one of my most easy to recreate because you could also make it a lot more simple. If you didn't want to do any patterns, you could just do flat colors and it would be so cute too. But I literally had so much fun doing these. This is one of the most like creatively invigorating, fun spreads that I've done in a long time. And I feel like this would also be a really great just like sketchbook exercise if you wanted to do a fun little practice page or just like a little doodly page, because it's super easy to recreate. Okay, so I put this first section in a little bit slower of fast forward so that you can see a bunch of the patterns that I did. I did a lot of stars, some big stars like the one that I'm drawing now, some more little stars. I did a lot of polka dots. You can do big polka dots or really little ones. You can stagger the polka dots or make them in a perfect grid. Stripes are really easy. You could do thin stripes or thick stripes or alternating or dotted lines and solid lines, like so many different ideas. I also did a bunch of hearts, big hearts, little squiggly hearts. I did a bunch of plaid, and I feel like plaid you would think is hard to draw, but it's actually very easy to recreate. The easiest way to do plaid is just to fill in your background color, and then you're basically just drawing different checkerboards just at different staggering starts. So you can do like a thick one and then just a little bit to the right of that start a thinner one, and just make sure that all of the lines are equally distant from each other. That's how you draw plaid. It's super easy. I will say this took a really long time to fill in. Once again, I feel like this year I have not done a good job of doing time management before I need to finish my journal. And I kind of, when I was conceptualizing this, I was like, oh, that will be so easy to like finish quickly. Like I'll be able to do it in like a day. I did take a whole day to do this journal thing. It took me maybe like 8 hours to draw all of these pages. I really did not think it was going to take me that long. It took me a full day. So beware if you want to do this, especially if you want to cover the entire page. It's going to take a long time. But I feel like the filled in look is what really makes this pop. Like it just looks so busy, but also clean because of like the even grid. I don't know, I just feel like it looks so fun. But if you want to recreate, set aside some time. I was going to say also though, if you want to recreate this but you don't have a lot of time, you could also just do it like across part of the page and leave a big white space on like one side and do really big lettering or something for the big header. Like you could totally do that too, and it would also be cute. I know that I was making mine kind of all about the color palette, and that was my intention with this, but you could also do this in a more traditional Christmas color palette, like a bit bright red and shades of green. I feel like would be so cute too. Anyway, here's me working on my illustration page. So after I did the presents page, I was like, okay, I don't really want to do presents on every single page because I feel like it's going to be too repetitive and also kind of boring to just draw those over and over again, especially after how long it took me to do the divider page. So I decided for each page I was going to do a different repeating object. So for my illustration page, I decided I was going to do stamps. So like stamps for Christmas cards. So I made an even grid for a bunch of stamps and I just went to town drawing them. For these ones, I did do some of the patterns that I did on the last page. I like did some repeated patterns, but I also selected some of the stamps to do like a little Christmas icon. So I did like a Christmas tree, I did an ornament, a present, a cup of hot chocolate, like, I don't know, a little bit more iconography on this page, if you know what I mean. I feel like the repeating pattern thing is also something that you could recreate for all different seasons. So if for some reason you're watching this and it's like April or something, I don't know why you would be, but hello from the future if you're here watching in April. But you could totally just pick a color palette and then do these repeating patterns with different objects. Like if it was spring, you could do like Easter eggs, or you could do like flowers that take up like the same amount of space. But it's super easy to recreate because all you have to do is draw a grid for yourself, and you could do an evenly spaced grid like these stamps, or you could do the staggered, like, I don't know, unique, funky grid like I did on the divider page. And really, after you do that, it's all just fun, filling it in, being creative, drawing, making patterns. And you can also like repeat patterns if you can't think of a lot. Like I did a lot of the same ones on every page. I just like put them in different formats. So it's really easy to recreate. Okay, and then on my little habit tracker page, this was actually the theme that I was originally going to do this month, which was going to be doing a Christmas village, which I'm obsessed with and I can't wait to have one when I'm older. But I was originally going to do that as the whole theme, ended up switching my idea, but I knew that I still wanted to do a little grid of houses. I'm obsessed with this page. I actually think this is my favorite page of the whole thing because the little houses are so cute. These are also so easy to draw. Very like intuitive also because they're very grid-like, you know what I mean? Like the windows are squares and stuff like that. So these ones I was just being really creative with shapes and window shapes and doors, and I was trying to give each of them a little bit of like Christmas decorations too. So that first one I did a little wreath on the top. I did some little strings of Christmas lights on the outsides of other ones. Literally, this was so fun for me. This, like I said before, this would be such a really cute sketchbook page to do too if you just want to have like a fun little thing to do in your sketchbook, way to fill up a page. Super fun. I also think this would be really fun to draw like with kids. If you have kids in your life, like you could draw the outlines of the houses and then they could fill them in with color and decorate them and stuff. So fun, so easy. And lastly, for my little moments page header, I was taking inspiration from those little like whimsical Christmas decor pictures that I showed earlier, with doing a little colorful paper chain and the stars and moons hanging down. I just wanted to pay homage to that because I'm obsessed with that like decoration aesthetic right now, and I think I'm gonna make one of those paper chains for my apartment because they're just too cute. And yeah, those are all of my pages. Hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, hi everyone. I'm actually done doing my bullet journal. I'm gonna show you the final reveal. I'm so excited. This is truly one of my favorite bullet journal themes ever. I feel like it was a little bit scary because I wasn't going off of an actual theme. I was really just building a new little aesthetic theme by myself without any other inspiration. I haven't done that in a really long time, and it felt so creatively invigorating to do that. So I'm really excited to show you the final reveal. And here's my final December bullet journal theme. Oh my god, it's so cute. I was just thinking while I was taking photos of my journal that I feel like this would be such a cute wrapping paper. Wouldn't this like design be so cute as a repeating pattern on wrapping paper? I'm just obsessed. I also wasn't sure about this font at the beginning, but now I just know it's the perfect font match for this design. So cute. I would love to hear in the comments or on TikTok or whatever, you can screenshot your favorite present. Tell me which one is your favorite design. I think this is my favorite. I love that one, and I love this plaid one, and I love this polka dot one, and this stripe one, and this polka dot one. So all of them, but let me know which one is your favorite. Here's my final calendar page and my illustration page. I don't always show doing the headers because they are usually kind of boring and repetitive, but this one I decided to do as little ornaments. They're so cute. I actually used a circle stencil that I have to make all of these circles the exact same shape, but they are so cute. And my little stamp page, I love these ones. I feel like this reminds me of like Christmas cards, and I just love all the patterns. I feel like you could get them at like Anthropologie back in the day. And here is my habits and goals, my moments page. I'm obsessed with these little houses. I want to have a little Christmas village, and I feel like these are so cute. I also think this would be a really cute wrapping paper. And this is obviously inspired by the little whimsical Christmas decorations that I've been seeing on TikTok. Little paper chains and the hanging stars and moon. So cute. And that is December in my bullet journal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have been around all year watching all of my 2025 Journal With Me videos, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I love reading your comments, and I love reading your DMs over on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not going anywhere in 2026. I will still be posting. And there's going to be a ton of videos at the end of December this month that I'm really looking forward to filming. For example, you'll get to see my full bullet journal tour, showing you every single page, including the pages that I don't show in my Journal With Me videos. I'll be having my year-end goals video that I make every single year, my reading wrap-up of all the books that I read, and of course my 2026 bullet journal setup. But if you want to see some more from me in the meantime, I'm also going to be posting a bunch of year-end content on my socials on TikTok and Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at graciecreates and on TikTok at graciecreates. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Pretty blue jeans and me.